Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Think Before You Hate podcast, where we'll discuss the latest topics on civil rights that concern the people of Chicago. I'm Alex with the Chicago Commission on Human Relations, and we're the city's civil rights agency. We work diligently to eliminate prejudice and discrimination in Chicago by enforcing the city's Human Rights Ordinance, as well as the Fair Housing Ordinance. And today we have the great pleasure of speaking to Margaret Kalushin, who will educate us on the Restorative Justice Community Courts in Chicago. So without further ado, Margaret, welcome to the podcast, and thank you very much for joining us. Now, will you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Where'd you grow up? Who is Margaret Kalushin?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel really honored to be here with you and to talk to you mostly about restorative justice, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself.
Please do.
I have lived in Chicago for over 20 years, but I was born and raised in Warsaw, Poland. My education background in this community, psychology, but for many years I was in the media. I was at the Polish radio and Polish television, but the Polish radio and Polish television was the place where I discovered that I really love to work with community and with community members. So developing community program is my true passion, and I'm fully engaged in restorative justice community courts. I was involved in every phases of establishing these courts in our county, from community mapping to the opening ceremony. As a Polish American, I'm deeply involved in Chicago extensive Polish community. Every year I serve as a co-MC of the Polish Constitution Day Parade in downtown Chicago, and of course I'm also a proud member of the Chicago Commission on Human Relations. I'm passionate about lifelong learning, reading, exploring new ideas and skills. I love traveling, hiking, swimming, biking, and of course I enjoy meaningful conversations. So again, thank you so much for inviting me today to talk to you.
Thank you for hopping on the podcast. Now, we have you on our podcast today because you are the director of the Restorative Justice Program for the Circuit Court of Cook County. Now, will you please tell us about this program? What is it, and how does it work?
Yeah, I work on an everyday basis. I work in the Avondale Restorative Justice Community Court. This court is located on the northwest side of Chicago, and I coordinate this court. But the Restorative Justice Community Courts were opened by Chief Judge Timothy Evans and are the first courts of their kind in the Midwest that promote community involvement, use peace circles, and are designed to heal rather than punish. Restorative Justice Community Courts are criminal courts in the neighborhoods. Restorative Justice Community Courts practice restorative justice, use peace circles, and allow the community to create solutions to repair the harm caused by crime and conflict. Restorative justice focuses on restoration and repairing harm done in the community. For example, in traditional criminal justice, crime is a violation of the law and the state. Violations create guilt. In the restorative justice process, crime is a violation of people and relations. Violations create obligations. Restorative justice often and broadly uses the term harm, which include all kinds of harm: material, physical, psychological, relationship, and of course harm done in the community. On a daily basis, in our 4 restorative justice community courts in Cook County, we are helping young adults aged 18 to 26 who committed nonviolent crime to repair the harm and find a way to productive adulthood, complete school, find a job, and address any other issues that they might have or challenges that they may be facing right now. At the moment, we have 4 restorative justice community courts. I mentioned to you the Avondale Court, but the very first court was the court in North Lawndale neighborhood. We have also a court in Inglewood, and we have a suburban court, the first, that was opened last year in Sauk Village. So I'll tell you a little bit about the process. When people come to us, they were referred by the state's attorney office. Then, after the initial hearing and agreement to participate in the court, after a while we start a peace circle process. And in the peace circle, the repair of harm is created. The repair of harm agreement is created. And this agreement contains goals that people need to complete in order to dismiss their case. And so when the repair of harm agreement is created, people coming back to the court, the agreement is accepted by the court, and they're working on their goals listed in the repair of harm agreement. When all the goals are completed, their case is dismissed, and their record is expunged. So the process is very inclusive because we invite community members to serve in our peace circles.
Now, how can restorative justice frameworks contribute to addressing the root causes of injustice and systemic inequality?
Very good question. Restorative justice community courts prioritize community-based solutions that move individuals away from incarceration, reducing the long-term harms of systemic discrimination. Restorative justice community courts offer alternatives to incarceration, breaking circles of poverty and criminalization. Community court promotes active participation in the justice process. Community engagement that we promote in our courts help create solutions that reflect the lived realities of those most affected by injustice. Many justice-involved individuals come from background of poverty, trauma, and structural neglect like lack of education, lack of health care, lack of employment, or other challenges that they are facing on a daily basis. Restorative justice process address root causes of harm by integrating mental health support, substance use treatment, educational programs, and research demonstrate how investing in education, mental health, therapy, economic opportunity leads to safer communities. RJ challenges us to reimagine justice as healing rather than punishment, and ensuring that all individuals, regardless of their background, have access to fairness, dignity, and opportunity.
Well then. Now, how do we ensure that restorative justice prevents recidivism?
Another great question. We are tracking recidivism rate, and it wasn't last year. It was in 2023, our office conducted an internal program evaluation. We compared similar age groups from the same neighborhood whose cases went to restorative justice community courts versus regular criminal courts. The recidivism rate for those who went through traditional criminal courts were over 60%. By contrast, those who went to restorative justice community courts and successfully completed the program had a recidivism rate of just 13%. Early intervention, as well as connection with local support system and mentors, can do miracles. Also, asking people to complete their education or to complete their goals list, or sending them to jobs or trade programs, addressing any other issues that they might have, can be life-changing. So the low recidivism rate is not the only success of these courts community. It's not the only one success. The real impact is helping young adults find job, completing their education, and of course at the end of the process to expunge their record. Around 77 million people in the United States have a criminal record at the moment. This fact limits their chances for jobs, housing, and even social interactions. That is why it is extremely important to have this option, especially for young adults.
Oh, yes, I definitely agree. Now, can you share any transformative personal stories or shifts in understanding through the practice of restorative justice from your program?
There are so many great stories of young individuals who come to our courts and were initially shy and lacked self-confidence. After a few months, they were able to find a job, reconnect with their family, and complete their GED or complete a trade school or find a job. If you may, I would like to read a few testimonials.
Sure.
So this is just a few that I brought here. My experience with RJCC was a big awakening. It gave me a different perspective of my life and my future. It helped me understand my past, and I realized why I am who I am. It helped me grow a lot. I never planned to go to college. This month, I finished my first semester in college. Another testimonial. I was rushing in life. I was rushing to grow up. This is why I was arrested. In RJCC, I realized that there is no rush. I have a lot of time to complete my goals in life, and everything is possible. And the last one, this is one of my favorite. During the program, I went to college. I thought I will never go to college because no one in my family did. My relations with my family improved when I realized that I need to apologize to my parents. And I have a few more that people are telling that they find a job, or when they realize that they would like to start their own business, or maybe start some career in the fields that they never thought about before.
Sure. Yeah, now, this is a great program, and with that being said, are there ways for people to help and give back to the community and support your cause?
Absolutely. We are always welcoming community members who would like to serve in our peace circles. We are open to work with service providers who can help our participants address their goals and challenges. And, of course, we are asking people in Chicago and in the Cook County community to support this amazing alternative for young adults. So we really appreciate community support.
Very well, then. Now, as of today's recording, today is June 3rd. It's summertime. Now, with that being said, are there any internship opportunities for any college students that may be listening?
Absolutely. Please visit the Circuit Court of Cook County website and find the internship application there. You can also contact me, and I can guide them through the website.
As we're wrapping up our conversation, I'm going to ask you this one question that I ask all of our guests. In your opinion, what can our listeners do in their everyday lives to combat hate and discrimination?
In my opinion, it should be everyday actions, from speaking up against biases to supporting diverse voices. These actions create a ripple effect in building a more just and inclusive society. But staying vigilant, engaged, and compassionate, we can help create a world where everyone feels respected. I would also encourage everyone to learn about different culture, stay informed about current events, and create safe space where people feel welcome and appreciated.
Excellent answer. I totally agree. Now, is there anything else that you wanted to add today that we didn't get to discuss, or?
I can ask our listener for support of restorative justice community courts and support all the alternative approaches or ideas that help our youth, because our youth is our future, and we're supporting them a lot. If there is anything that we can help to create better future for our youth, we are also creating better future for ourselves.
Yes, I definitely agree. Well, Margaret, thank you very much for your time today and discussing the restorative justice community courts with us, and we really appreciate your wisdom. I learned a lot today, and I really hope our listeners learned a lot as well. Now, thank you to all of our listeners for tuning into our podcast. Remember, if you or anybody you know feels that they've been a victim of discrimination, please do not hesitate to contact the Chicago Commission on Human Relations at 312-744-4111. Again, that is 312-744-4111. Please follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And until next time, remember, think before you hate.